It's the season finale for the ADAC GT4 Germany 2025. Hello everybody, welcome to the Hockenheimring for the conclusion of the 7th season of this wonderful series organised by the ADAC GT4 Germany. One race today, one race tomorrow, and at the end of it all, we will be crowning the new champions. The air temperature, 13.2 degrees centigrade, is a distinct improvement on what we had during qualifying this morning. In fact, the track is nice and dry now, but it was very tricky conditions during quali this morning. And it was Lachlan Robinson who earned his first ever pole position in GT4 Germany. I said that it's the end of tomorrow, the championship will be decided. It may well be today because Enrico Federer and Jamo Hertling go into this race with a 21-point advantage over Gabriele Piana and Berke Besler. Piana has won the championship in the past, but it is certainly a sense of the veterans versus the newcomers in the championship. You've got Gabriele Piana, the only driver to have started every single race there's ever been in ADAC GT4 Germany, along with Berke Besler, a very experienced pilot in other disciplines, including a former champion in Prototype Cup Germany. And you have Enrico Federer and Jamo Hertling in their first ever season in GT4 Germany, leading the way in the championship. And you have the upstarts, the like of Emil Heyerdahl, Tommy Rackle, who you saw just now, all coming up through the ranks. But those are the two drivers, the two cars that are going to be fighting primarily at the top. We've got Philip Goglock and Hendrik Still, who are 34 points back from Enrico Federer and Jamo Hertling. And Emil Heyerdahl, who you saw just now, along with Rafael Renhofer, are 36 points back. So 50 points available. Mathematically, all four cars, all four teams are in the championship hunt. But realistically, it's starting to look like Federer and Hertling versus Piana and Berke Besler. But of course, a lot can change, and often does in ADAC GT4 Germany. And it's from 6th on the grid that Jamo Hertling will be starting his first of the two races this weekend. Gabriele Piana, Berke Besler, well, they qualified, it was Besler who's at the wheel, qualified down in 15th place, so they've got a lot of work to do to move forwards from there. Hendrik Still and Philip Goglock are at car number 1, and Hendrik Still did the qualifying this morning. He starts from 4th on the grid, and it's Emil Heyerdahl, who shares with Rafael Renhofer, who starts from 3rd on the grid. So a lot of fighting to be done. If Federer and Hertling win this race, they will be champions for 2025, whatever. If they finish 2nd, Gabriele Piana, Berke Besler must win. Everything beyond that will work out as we go along. It means it's all to play for in this race 11 of a 12-race season. We've also got the junior rankings. That too has been led by Enrico Federer and Jamo Hertling. We've got the rookie rankings. That is currently being led by Cedric Fuchs, and a revision to the results following an appeal from earlier in the season, by my calculations, means that Cedric Fuchs cannot be caught in the rookie rankings. The defending team champions, Avia WNS Motorsport, lead FK Performance Motorsport by 41 points. So, plenty to be thinking about. Right, I've had a message just saying start delayed. I don't think it's going to be for too long. I think we're just clearing the grid. We're a little bit behind schedule today. We were due to be racing about 15 minutes ago, but with some fairly torrential rain that came at the start of the DTM race earlier today, everything has been a little bit delayed. But we're very pleased to say that the track is almost dry. You can see the dry line there, but off that racing line, it is a little bit greasy. So drivers need to be careful, because you try a move, make a move on somebody off the racing line, you could very, very quickly find yourself heading towards a gravel trap or a fence. It is really, really tricky here in these conditions at the Hockenheimring, a circuit that is 4.574 kilometers around with 17 turns, 9 to the right and 8 to the left. It is a wonderful circuit, particularly this section here, the Parabolica turn 5, taken absolutely flat out before the heavy braking into the hairpin, and you can see how wet offline it is into the hairpin. So let's have a look at the starting grid. It's Lachlan Robinson with his first ever pole position following his first win last time out. Tommy Rackle, though, on the front row. Another good job from him. Emil Heyerdahl and Hendrik Still occupy row 2 of the grid, an all Porsche row there. And on row 3 of the grid, it'll be Philipp Viskerschen and the championship leaders, J-Mo Hertling for SR Motorsport by Schnitzelam, who will line up alongside. Next up, Alex Connor. Good to see BWG Mucker back towards the front. Marit Bookman from Pro Sport Racing is alongside there on row 4. Row 5, Denny Berndt and Jan Philipp Springob in the Cozy Racing by ESM Aston Martin. And then on row 6 of the grid, Luciana Schneider has Niels Truger for company somewhere in the middle of the pack. Igor Litvinenko had good qualifying this morning with Tommy Gore all the way from Jamaica with a very vocal fan club on row 7. On row 8, second in the championship, a lot of work to do for Berke Besler, Roman Feldenfeldegg alongside Dennis Jolmesh, and we welcome Mark Kastelik for Razun More Than Racing on row 9 of the grid. Great to have his debut. Welcome back, Gianni van de Kratz, first time this year. FK Performance putting an extra car on the grid. Joseph Ellerine is there. Then is Lewis Moser, Tobias Clausen, and Damon Sazishin, who lines up at the back. Those of you who are observant will have noticed we are on a second formation lap. That has literally just popped up on the screen. It means that the clock will start ticking, but the car's still running behind the safety car. With these greasy conditions, the air temperature dropping a little, 13.3 degrees centigrade, giving the drivers a little bit of time to get more heat into the tyres and into the brakes, so that the next time we circulate the track, they will have something to grip with and something to stop with. Lots to be thinking about in the championship here. Very much one eye will be on the championship leader, J-Mo Hertling, and another on Berke Besler. Those are the two that are leading the championship. Hendrik Still in third place, needs to stay out of trouble, needs to try and get a win from fourth on the grid. And Emil Heyerdahl in the number 92 car also needs to push forward, starting third on the grid in a strong position, but really hoping that the championship leaders will trip up, will have a problem, which is not out of the question, because although J-Mo Hertling and Enrico Federer won the first 4 races of the season, they have not won a race since. They've had a couple of podiums, including last time out at the Red Bull Ring. But when it at first started to look like they were going to walk the championship and have it sewn up by about September, August, it turns out at the moment the 4 wins in a row have not been repeatable, and so they will be looking to try and get back on the top step of the podium, but they will have the championship very much in mind. The skies are dark, but we are not expecting any more rain today. We are expecting a pit stop that will happen 25 minutes to 35 minutes into the race. The 10-minute window that opens, as is always the way in GT4 Germany, for a mandatory stop and a driver change. At the moment, it's all looking good. Under the glorious German sunshine here at the Hockenheimring, the cars are lined up side by side, getting ready for race 11 of a 12-race season for ADAC GT4 Germany. The pole-sitting car has 15 kilograms of success ballast on board. That wasn't on board for quali this morning as a result of winning last time out. So Tommy Rackle may well be mindful of that as he tries to jump to the front as they head in towards turn 1. So, are you ready? 5 red lights on, 5 red lights off, and we are go at the Hockenheimring. And a good start from Lachlan Robinson into turn 1. Tommy Rackle being passed by Emil Heyerdahl. Very slippery offline. The car's going wide. Track limits are an issue on that part of the circuit. They can get away with it on the opening lap of the race, but soon the stewards will get involved if they go over the white lines. So at the moment, a good start for Lachlan Robinson. Tommy Rackle in second place. It's Emil Heyerdahl into second place. Tommy Rackle's dropped back to fourth. So Emil Heyerdahl up into third place. So not a great start for Tommy Rackle at the moment, but still a long way to go in this race. Rackle looking a little bit vulnerable to a challenge from behind. Also, Philip Viskirchen, the other ME Motorsport cars there as well. So Alex Connor in the BWT Mucca Mercedes moving forwards. Connor, who stepped in to replace Luca Bosco alongside Julien Potolo in that car. They've been struggling with the handling of that car all season long, but it looks as though they may well have got a grip on it in the tricky conditions this morning. On board with our championship leader, JMO Hertling, in 8th place at the moment. We're going to wait for the race to settle down a little bit before we start doing points connotation. So at the moment, just letting everybody settle down in the evening sunshine here at the Hockenheimring. Lachlan Robinson leads the way. Emil Heyerdahl, good start up into second place. JMO Hertling now challenging Philip Viskirchen, but needs to be careful because a non-finish, a DNF, would throw the championship wide open. At the moment, Federer and Hertling, you could say, have one hand on the trophy, but that could change in an instant. So really important to stay out of trouble, to bring it home with consistent points finishes. And that is Igor Litvinenko in the 91 car and Marit Buchmann. So that's 10th and 11th place. Litvinenko looking to be challenged by the Aston Martin, although Aston Martin looking to challenge him. As we see our race leader not able to break clear at the moment, Lachlan Robinson. Remember, he has that additional success ballast as a result of winning last time out at the Red Bull Ring. Tommy Gore has an extra 10 kilograms of success ballast, and our championship leading car with JMO Hertling has an additional 5 kilograms. That is just for this race. It doesn't seem to be slowing him too much as we head towards the hairpin on the outside line. JMO Hertling now challenging Philip Viskirchen for 7th place. He goes to the outside, then cuts back to the inside. The two cars running absolutely side by side. The Mercedes with a nose in front. JMO Hertling with the camera on board, and now Jan-Philipp Springhoff is in there as well. Maybe a little bit of a tap. Philip Viskirchen moved aside into turn 8, the left-hand corner, and shuffled down the pack. So the BMWs that are fielded by ME Motorsport looking a little bit like they're struggling for pace in these drying conditions at the moment. But we've still got 53 3/4 minutes plus 1 lap remaining of this race. Plenty to come, plenty of action. We've got driver changes, we've got the pit stops, so all to play for in this, the ADAC GT4 Germany. At the moment, Robinson out of turn 17, despite that success ballast, still in control. Heyerdahl, 0.549 is the gap between first and second, and then it's about another half a second back to Hendricks, still in third place. Tommy Rackle settled down now into 4th place. Alex Connor has been the man on a mission, but he's 1.2 seconds back from Tommy Rackle. So you can see challenges further back, and that's JMO Hertling looking to move forward. Denny Burnt is the next, who is going to be the victim of the SR Motorsports Mercedes. And you can see that if the race finished now, it would be a 25-point gap with 25 points remaining on the table. If the drivers are tied for points, it will go back to race wins, and Enrico Federer and JMO Hertling have those 4 wins, which may well come in use. So if things remain as they are now, Enrico Federer and JMO Hertling would become champions with 1 race remaining. But of course, we've got 52 minutes plus 1 lap of racing still remaining, including the driver change. So JMO Hertling trying to make hay while the sun shines, both literally and paradoxically, that is a word, trying to make hay and move forwards as best as possible. There is the 17 car, Marit Buchmann on Igor Litvinenko. So Buchmann trying to return the compliment on Igor Litvinenko and move his way back up through the pack for the Aston Martin. Lachlan Robinson in control at the front at the moment, but Heyerdahl trying to keep the pressure on. Keep an eye on Hendrick still in the #1 car. In that third place, our championship leader, J-Mo Hurtling, wants to make more progress. Denny Burnt is the next victim up the road. If he can get past Denny Burnt, he will get himself into a position where they will have that championship gap coming into tomorrow's race that cannot be caught. Meanwhile, Berke Besler is up to 14th place, so second in the championship. Berke Besler is in 14th place, some 9.7 seconds back from the leader. Out along the Parabolica, a corner that has taken absolutely flat out, then in towards the hairpin, under braking. First, second, third, braking clear a bit from fourth, then is fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, and there is Tommy Gore into the hairpin, had to stand on the brakes a little bit, was trying to challenge Igor Litvinenko. Luciana Schneider keeping out of the way of that battle, so that would have been for 11th place. So Tommy Gore was fairly disappointed with his qualifying this morning in the greasy conditions and wanted to push forwards, but needs to stay out of trouble, try and avoid any damage on that Porsche. So Lachlan Robinson, 0.4 of a second, but this is the car we're looking at. J-Mo Hurtling, championship leader. Things remain at the moment. He's hurtling towards a championship title with one race to spare. So to the inside of Denny Burnt, this will be for 6th place. Job done for the Mercedes. That additional 5 kilos of success ballast doesn't appear to be slowing him down too much. So moving forwards, another position. Now next up the road will be Alex Connor in a very similar Mercedes. So we look down at that move from our great drone camera and sweeping around fairly effortlessly and relegating Denny Burnt down into 7th place. So things remain as they are now. It would be J-Mo Hurtling and Enrico Ferderer who would become champions with one race to spare. But as I've said already, we've got the pit stops, we've got the driver changes, and the first pit window, the pit window, will open in about just under 10 minutes, no, 14 minutes. Dodgy maths, 14 minutes, and then during that 10-minute window, every driver and car will need to come in for a mandatory stop and the driver change. So Marit Berkman in the number 17 car, trying to come back at Philip Viskursen. There is the 32 car, Luciana Schneider and Igor Litvinenko just up ahead, but keep an eye on Tommy Gore, the Avia WNS Motorsport Porsche, Jamaica to the world as he challenges to try and push forwards. Luciana Schneider, teammate, well, sister car, but Avia WNS has a look to the outside. Very important that these two cars don't get together. Very important that Berke Besler in that 14th place tries to move forwards a little bit and try and take this championship into tomorrow. Philip Viskursen and Marit Berkman, they've been swapping places all the way through the race so far. At the moment, advantage Berkman. He's managed to get back up into that 9th place, but Philip Viskursen now putting the pressure back on. But Berke Besler will be aware that the championship leader is up ahead and making space, making points on them, and needs to move forwards. 48 minutes of this race remaining. Look at this fight going on here. As Igor Litvinenko in the orange and white Wimmer Motorsport car. Behind him, Luciana Schneider, Tommy Gore, then Berke Besler, then Roman Veldefeldeg in one of the rapid Aston Martins. Joel Mesh is in there as well, sister car to the championship leaders, and the championship leader, J-Mo Hurtling, has broken clear of Denny Burnt and now heading towards Alex Connor. Onto the Parabolica once again. We're on board with Berke Besler, second in the championship, needs more from this race to take the championship into tomorrow. When the pit window opens, we'd expect Besler will want to get in quickly and hand over to Gabriella Piana, the former champion. Litvinenko with Luciana Schneider. Had a look to the inside. Tommy Gore fancies trying to get past both of them into the hairpin. Well, Gore has got alongside Luciana Schneider, has got a nose in front now, challenging Igor Litvinenko on the outside line into turn 7, and then is heavy braking into turn 8. Berke Besler on the outside as well. So now everybody's starting to turn up the heat. We're going a little bit 3 abreast there. Roman Feldeg in the number 19 car also getting involved. So Luciana Schneider getting shuffled down the pack a little and into the clutches of Joel Mesh. So Litvinenko holding on at the front of that queue, but Tommy Gore now turning the pressure up. Litvinenko in 11th, Gore in 12th. And Tommy Gore looking the more rapid of the two, but in the background, Berke Besler would dearly love to jump both of these cars. We're 11.25 minutes away from the pit window opening. And I get the feeling Berke Besler might be quite early to stop, because he'll want to get Gabriele Piano, who is so experienced behind the wheel, to try and move forwards as best he can. Maybe try and get the car out onto an open track. And there we just see the two cars are bouncing off each other. A little bit of debris gets fired up into the air. Looking back from the perspective of Berke Besler. And there is a replay of how Luciana Schneider got shuffled down the order. Right, the one thing we haven't mentioned yet, and we do need to mention, is track limits. And I'm looking across at my timing screen. We've had probably about a dozen or so track limit warnings. It has been a running theme all week long here at the Hockenheimring, and all the track limits issues are on turn 1. A significant one is Tommy Gore. He's had a track limit warning. Looking just to see whether any of the front runners have had track limit warnings as well. Certainly a number of cars, yes, the number 11 car, J-Mo Hertling, has had a track limit warning as well. So the drivers need to be really careful. We've seen it in other classes that have been racing here at the Hockenheimring today, drivers receiving penalty laps as a result of exceeding track limits too many times. They get a warning, but then after that, the steward steps in and sends them to the penalty box. And for J-Mo Hertling, currently in 6th place, doing a great job, heading towards a championship here on the Saturday at the Hockenheimring. A visit to the penalty box would drop the car a long way down through the pack. We continue to look at Igor Litvinenko fending off Berke Besler. This is for 12th place. So Besler now just homing in on the Porsche in front. Tommy Gore has broken clear of Litvinenko in 11th. Up ahead is Philip Viskersen, then Marit Buchmann, just up ahead on the road. Now Besler to the inside. On the corner, late on the brakes, Litvinenko not able to defend, now trying to come back on the outside line. Along with the Parabolica once again, absolutely flat out, a really fast bit of track. Now Litvinenko has the inside line as they head in towards the hairpin, so he should be able to retake the position. In the background, Roman Feldeg as well, trying to pick up a slipstream, 3 abreast briefly into the hairpin. Besler's going to get shuffled out here, and is Roman Feldeg, who comes out on top of that particular battle. Great move there for Roman Feldeg. Out fumbles all of the cars in front. Now Litvinenko and Besler bounce off each other. It's critical for Berke Besler that he doesn't get damaged, that he doesn't record a non-finish, because that will seal their championship fate. Behind, Luciana Schneider is trying to come back as well. Also in there, the number 12 car of Joel Mesh, now challenging the sister car of the championship leader, is pushing his way forwards as well. Also in the background, Lewis Moser in the number 70 car, who has been fighting his way further forwards. This is the battle for 12th place that we saw just now into the hairpin. And it was Roman Feldeg, late on the brakes, got the thing slowed down and managed to jump a couple of the cars in front of him to move up those positions. Really solid stuff. His co-driver, Hugo Sasser, a 2-times former champion in ADAC GT4 Germany, also coaching Roman Feldeg. And doing a great job, clearly, because Feldeg out fumbling the cars around and getting in front. Our race leader continues to be Lachlan Robinson, holding on with all the pressure from Emil Heyerdahl, then Hendrik Still, then Tommy Rackle, settled down in 4th place, then Alex Connor, then Jamo Hertling. The incident between Roman Feldeg and Berke Besler, that pass that we saw was under investigation. Didn't look like there was anything that might pick up a penalty, but if the stewards are looking at it, clearly they think there might be something that needs investigating. Jamo Hertling has now caught up with Alex Connor in that 5th place. If he can get past, it would increase that points lead at the front, get that championship secured before tomorrow's race. But Alex Connor, the driver from Great Britain, in 5th place, has sailed in well in the BWT Mucker Motorsport Mercedes AMG. Doing a solid job in 5th place. Robinson at the moment has 0.4 of a second on Emil Heyerdahl. Then 0.9 of a second back to Hendrik Still, but then 2.4 back to Tommy Rackle. So the first 3 clear of Rackle. A lot of squabbling going on. This is for a position not even in the points. Lewis Moser in the number 70 car. Luciana Schneider has been shuffled down the pack somewhat. Joel Mesh there in the yellow and black Mercedes. 16th and 17th place. BMW versus Mercedes. Lewis Moser in the blue and white BMW into turn 1. Trying to keep it on the dry patch. There's not much grip to be had out there. The back end of the car sliding. Really important to look after the tyres as well. But now the challenge from Joel Mesh comes to the inside of Lewis Moser. The Mercedes MGs, prepared by SR Racing by Schnitzelam, have been very, very quick here in the evening sunshine at the Hockenheimring. And now the challenge for position. Alex Connor has the championship leader, Jamo Hertling, breathing down his exhaust pipe. Hertling has closed in on Alex Connor despite the additional success ballast on board. Connor now a more experienced pilot in ADAC GT4 Germany, having to focus hard on keeping that car on the dry parts of the track and keeping the number 11 car behind. He will know that if he can force Jamo Hertling onto a wet part of the track, he may well force him into a mistake. The clouds up above look dark, look ominous, but we don't think it's going to rain. We look there as the 4th place, Tommy Rackle coming through. Then this is the closest fight on the track that has taken place behind. Jamo Hertling now with a look to the inside of Alex Connor. Connor is not giving up without a fight, is he? So Alex Connor into turn 16 and then into 17, but Hertling has the inside line. So it's going to be a drag race as they head towards turn 1. The 2 identical cars running side by side, but it's going to be advantage Hertling because he'll have the racing line into turn 1. And he steals that position way, relegating Alex Connor down into 6th place. So the points gap will increase at the top. Jamo Hertling into that 5th place. We are just a little over 3.5 minutes from the pit window opening. Then it'll be time for the number 2 drivers to start limbering up to get ready. No further action for the incident between Berke Besler and Roman Feldeg. Thought that might be the case. The stewards have taken a look and decided there was nothing wrong there. You can see how Jamo Hertling and Alex Connor were bouncing off each other out of the corner. Good, tough, clean racing in ADAC GT4 Germany. The penultimate race of the season, the final round here at the Hockenheimring to conclude what has been a fantastic 7th season for this series. A series that seems to go from strength to strength. At the moment, it's Porsche 1, 2, 3. Lachlan Robinson still leading the way, 0.424 over Emil Heyerdahl. Hendrik Still 1.129 back. Then Tommy Rackle running on his own, and then this fight here that you are witnessing. Further back, the 31 car leads the way. Lachlan Robinson. Further back, the sister car, which has been driven by Luciana Schneider, is into 15th place, so still in the points at the moment. Roman Feldeg in the 19 car, challenging Igor Litvinenko. This will be for 13th. Luciana Schneider is there as well, ready to jump into any gap that might occur. Igor Litvinenko, we saw him guesting in Porsche 6 Carrera Cup Germany for a couple of races last year. We knew he was good at the ADAC Motorsport. He's been learning the ropes in GT4 Germany. And here he is now in that 13th place. Roman Feldner-Feldegg, another driver in his rookie season of this series. Luciana Schneider, Joel Mesh, all rookies for this season. As we look down at the hairpin. So 36.5 minutes just under remaining. Challenges further back, that looks like Marit Buchmann to me. So if the race finished now, it would be a championship to Enrico Förderer and J-Mo Hertling, as we see Jan-Philipp Springhoff and Marit Buchmann going side by side into the corner. Great to have the number 4 car, the Cozy Racing by ESM Aston Martin. It's not scoring points because it is a guest driver. So certainly racing just for trophies at the moment. But if the race finished now, it would be a 27-point gap with 25 points remaining on the table. There'd still be quite a fight going on for second, third and fourth in the championship, but the overall title would be decided. But there's still plenty more to come. And in a few moments, J-Mo Hertling will be handing the car over to Enrico Förderer, and he will have to get up to speed and get the car back into that position and bring it home. So plenty more still to come here from the ADAC GT4 Germany. Still this battle rages on. Roman Feldner-Feldegg going wheel to wheel. Joel Mesh has managed to sneak past both of them. So Joel Mesh making good progress forwards. And now up with Igor Litvinenko, and suddenly Roman Feldner-Feldegg has Luciana Schneider challenging, and the distraction was exactly what Schneider needed, because Feldner-Feldegg goes deep into turn 1, and the Porsche is able to jump through and take that position away. Now Litvinenko with Joel Mesh looking to the left, looking to the right. Berke Besler in 12th place. A bit of seat hugging going on. That's Tim Reiter, who'll be taking over the 66 car from Philip Viskersen. As we look down in the late evening sunshine, Tommy Gore has the aforementioned Philip Viskersen now behind him, because Tommy Gore moves into the top 10 in the number 30 Avia WNS Motorsport Porsche. Right, the pit window is open, so it will remain open for another 9 minutes and 10 seconds. There is a minimum pit stop time, so the drivers must not go below 95 seconds from pit entry to pit exit. They'll need to come in for a mandatory stop and driver change. They cannot cross the exit line before the clock strikes 0. If they do, there will be a fairly sizable penalty incoming. I'm looking at the track limit warnings, and my screen is full of them, including Berke Besler, who's been shown a black and white flag for track limits. So that would be disastrous if that were to turn into a penalty. Right, Tommy Gore, the first to blink into the pits. He comes. Also in the background was one of the ME Motorsport cars as well. So the number 2 drivers, who will be the number 1 drivers tomorrow. In fact, a lot of cars all coming in together. So it's Viskersen who's coming as well. Had a feeling Berke Besler might be looking to get in quite quickly. Hand over to Gabriele Piana. Igor Litvinenko's coming in to hand over to Oscar Dix. Joel Mesh is coming in to hand over to Cedric Fuchs. So lots of cars coming into the pits. Also Lewis Moser, who'll be handing over to Luca Link. Also Niels Truger into the pits as well in the number 22 car, handing over to Andreas Jochimsen. So this will change the whole dynamic of the race. The teams will be rolling the dice, trying to decide when is the best time to bring the car in, when they can maximize potential open track. Berke Besler walks away from the car. His body language a little bit despondent, I would say, but now Gabriele Piana will look to take over and try and move that car up the order. Tommy Gore is going to be handing over to Alain Gabet. So there goes Tommy Gore back to the garage. His work is done for today. and he'll be back in for the second stint tomorrow. Also in the background, you can see Luciano Schneider handing over to Maxi Schreier. Still, Lachlan Robinson out on track, Emil Heyerdahl, Hendrik Still, none of them are pitting at the moment. Tommy Rackle in that 4th place. Does hold the fastest lap of the race so far, does Tommy Rackle, a 1:47.603, but that was set on lap 2 of this race. Right, we've got the half a dozen cars that came in for their mandatory stop, who are now coming out onto track. Also in, Alex Connor. Out across the line, sorry. Connor's staying out at the moment, so he hasn't come in yet, but he will be handing over to Julien Potelot when that happens. So, here comes the 92 car, Emil Heyerdahl in 2nd place. He hasn't allowed Lachlan Robinson to get away. He's held that gap at a fraction over 0.4 of a second for the entire duration of the race so far. And as we start to head towards the halfway point of the race, getting the pit stop exactly right, not being in the pits for too long, is going to be fairly critical. That's one of the SR Motorsport Mercedes locking up in the background as JMO Hertling, one of them, and tripping over the Porsche that's behind. Roman Feldereg in the number 19 car. So there's Marek Buchmann. He's still out in 9th place at the moment. So takes a dive to the inside of the cars that have been into the pit. So that was Oscar Dix in the Wimmer Werk car. Back marking at the moment, but of course, Buchmann still has to come in for his mandatory stop. You can see from your graphic, the dark green P shows you that Alain Gabet is the leading stopping car. You can see that 14 cars, make that 12 now, have yet to come in for their stop because Joseph Ellerine and Tobias Abila Clausen are in for their stop. So the number 18 car, Clausen, who's handing over to Axel Bengtsen. Alain Gabet, after all that hard work from Tommy Gore, has gone wide off the track. He's into the gravel. He's allowed a whole host of other cars to come through. Gabriele Piana, we're very grateful for that. He's been able to rejoin, but all that hard work from Tommy Gore, and he has been shuffled back down the order into 19th place at the moment. Oh, there's still plenty of cars in front still to make their stop. Jan-Philipp Springhoff getting ready to hand over to Storm Yerdrum. The number 10 car, Denny Byrne, handing it over to Max Rosan. We've got lapped cars and leading lap cars all mixed up together here, but it's still Lachlan Robinson. I have a feeling he might want to stay out till quite late in the window. He's got an open track in front of him. Will Emil Heyerdahl, will the Wimmer Werk Motorsport team try and get Heyerdahl in a bit earlier, try and get the undercut as we see more challenges? This is Alain Gabet trying to come back through the pack. That's Cedric Fuchs up ahead of him. The 2 cars running side by side. It's a traffic jam out of the hairpin. Fuchs has the grunt, but Gabet to the inside. He'll be frustrated by that mistake that saw him spearing off into the gravel. There is also Marek Buchmann in 7th place, who is a lap ahead of this rabble in front of him because he has yet to make his stop. So he'll want to get clear of this lot. He doesn't want to get caught up in their battle at the moment. Alain Gabet wrestles himself clear of this particular fight. So there's Gabet in 17th place, Fuchs there as well. The 32 car, Maxi Schreier in the background. Marek Buchmann will be frustrated by the traffic in front of him. Buchmann is going to peel off into the pits. I'd say that's a wise decision from the team. So Buchmann peels off. It'll be Anton Abbey who will be standing by to take over the wheel of the number 17 car, but get him out of that melee, the fight for the last of the points here. So Gabet at the front of the queue at the moment. After that mistake, he's in 16th place. Make that 15th because you can just see Damon Sazishin, the driver from Canada in the number 40 car, who's going to be handing over to Lawrence Rule. And there's Oscar Dix getting a little bit twitchy on the corner, so they're all settling themselves out. We've still got 5 cars yet to pit. Tommy Rackle is the next one in. He's handing over to Linus Harner in the number 77 car. Gianni van der Kratz Haven't seen much of him so far in the 24 car. He is handing over to Valentin Grevin, who's making his debut here in GT4 Germany this weekend as the fighting continues. So, the number 12 car of Cedric Fuchs. Still there in the Mercedes. Also there, Oscar Dix. Dix to the inside and makes it stick. So Oscar Dix picking off a place from the very rapid Mercedes. Good job there. Andreas Jochumsen trying to get involved in the fight, but maybe a little bit too far back to pounce. Right, here comes the leaders. So Robinson and Heyerdahl coming in together. This could be he who dares wins. Henrik Still also peeling off into the pits. They've all got to come in before the clock strikes 0. So, how close to 0 in the minimum pit stop time dare they be? They cannot park it up at the pit exit. They've got to come out of the pits, and if they go below the minimum pit stop time, the P in your graphic will turn red, and that's exactly what's happened for Anton Abbé, because he appears to have gone about a 10th below the minimum pit stop time. So there may well be a penalty incoming for car 17. So the leading cars, Lachlan Robinson, who now hands over to Oscar Christensen. How close dare they go to the 0? Once they've released from their bay, then they're on a kind of an unstoppable train towards the pit exit. Emil Heyerdahl now handing over to Raphael Renhofer, a former winner in ADAC GT4 Germany. Hendrik Still handing over to Philip Gogolok, also in our championship leader, Jamo Hertling, handing over to Enrico Ferderer, and Alex Connor handing over to Julien Bottolo. There is the championship leading car in 4th place at the moment. Going to get relegated probably. Our race leader, well, the leading stopper is Linus Harner, took over from Tommy Rackle. He's up at the Sachs curve, turn 13 at the moment, heading towards turn 14. Now the cars get going, jumping out in front. So the 31 car still with the advantage over car 92. Back timed almost to perfection. In fact, the 31 car of Oscar Christensen was about 1.1 slower. A penalty lap is incoming for car 20. So that is for Daniel Drexel for speeding in the pit lane. So at the moment, Daniel Drexel will have to come in to receive that penalty in the penalty box. A penalty lap also awarded to Anton Abbé that we know about already. So the penalties are starting to come, and that was for the pit stop time. We said if you go below the 95 seconds minimum pit stop time, you could be in for a penalty. And there is the penalty box on the exit of the hairpin. And the penalty lap drivers will have to pass through that box at no more than 50 kilometers an hour. It's the equivalent to adding about 5 seconds onto a lap time. And in the evening sunshine here at the Hockenheimring, we've got a great perspective. Right, the hazards are flashing. That's the indication to those behind that Anton Abbé is going to pass through the box. It's a great visual illustration there. So hopefully he's below the 50 kilometers an hour. Now he's on the accelerator. The penalty has been served, but that it's better than a drive-through penalty. In the olden days, that was often what you would get for going below the minimum pit stop times. It is a softer penalty as our race leader, Oscar Christensen, goes pretty deep into turn 13, the Sachs curver. Raphael Renhofer, not close enough at the moment to make a move. Christensen, along with Lachlan Robinson, who won last time out at the Red Bull Ring. Raphael Renhofer, one of the real superstars, has done a little bit of GT3 racing. We saw him in Porsche's 6th Carrera Cup Germany as a guest as well. We look at a replay here, and that is the 18 car, Axel Bengston, getting together with the 24 car, the guesting car here from Valentin Grevin, the Dutch driver for FK Performance Motorsport. Right, let's have a look at where we are with the pit stops all done and dusted. Oscar Christensen leads, Raphael Renhofer, Philip Gogolok into the podium positions, Linus Harner, Enrico Ferderer in that 5th place. Where is Gabriella Piana? 10th place at the moment. So Gabriella Piana remember that Storm Yerdrum, who's in 8th place, is a guest driver. So Storm Yerdrum will not be scoring points. So everybody behind will move up in the points, if not the places. As we see, are we going to see a BWT board getting shortened? Yes, we are. There's a good bit of advertising for you. So the 14th place car of Maxi Schreier shortening one of our pink boards, but continues on his way. There is Linus Harner. So there's an investigation for car 24. We saw the incident on track. Valentin Greven under investigation, along with Axel Bengston, for contact between those two. And a track limits has been also awarded to Andres Jochumsen in the 22 car. So there is Linus Harner in 4th place. Championship leader Enrico Federer in 5th place, looking to move up a little further. Piana down in 10th place at the moment. Could it be that we're going to see the championship decided with 1 race remaining? Oscar Christensen leads Rafael Renhofer by 1.4 seconds at the moment, 1.43 to be precise. Then it's Philip Gogolok. Gogolok, the last of the podium finishers. Then it's Linus Harner in 4th. This is the battle. Harner in the orange and black BMW. Enrico Federer putting the pressure on for that 4th place. Wants to move up, wants to get that points cushion. Will be aware that Gabriele Piana is in 10th place, but needs to not take too many risks. Does not want to damage the car. Things finish as they are now, they would be 25 points clear. But with those 4 wins at the start of the season, it would go to a number of race wins. And Enrico Federer and J-Mo Hertling have those 4 versus just 2 for Gabriele Piana and Berke Besler. Good job from Linus Harner in defending that 4th place. But Federer will know, if he can get past the 77 car, it'll give him a points cushion. Still, Linus Harner holds on, having taken over from Tommy Rackle. These 2 drivers who have been so entertaining in the number 77 car, have been very much in the battles all season long. Such a formidable combination, as has been the case for Enrico Federer along with J-Mo Hertling. And Linus Harner under control at the moment into turn 16. It's proper slippery in the runoff area on the outside of 16 and 17. If they get out there, they are going to the scene of the accident, because there is no grip whatsoever. It's actually used as a drag strip for some of the year, and there is absolutely no grip. You'd expect the opposite for a drag strip, but it's like ice. You can barely walk on it. So if the cars go wide on the 16 and 17, well, it's track limits that are self-defining. So you go out there, you're going to be a passenger. Right, Linus Harner still withholding the pressure for Enrico Federer, but now we're heading into the Parabolica. Federer will pick up a slipstream. He's really close to the BMW. He ducks to the left. As they hit the braking point into the hairpin, it'll be the wide outside, so Federer is going to try and go the long way around. Harner will have the racing line, but Federer has got the job done before they get to the braking line, to the braking point, and is up into 4th place. So Enrico Federer relegates Linus Harner down to 5th. That's more points for the championship leaders. Gabriele Piana is 9/10 of a second back from Tim Reiter. Used to run in the same team as Tim Reiter back in the day. So will Tim Reiter help Gabriele Piana out by maybe not fighting quite so hard? On board with Enrico Federer, this is a replay, and along the Parabolica they come. Absolutely flat out, cool as a cucumber, glances briefly to the left, and then hits the braking point absolutely perfectly and slams the door on the number 77 car. Right, here's first, there's second, and there is third. So, if the race finished now, Rafael Renhofer, Emil Haidau would pick up the points for second place. Hendrik Still and Philip Gogelok we pick up the points for third place if the race finished as they are now. So Enrico Federer up into fourth place, along with J-Mo Hertling would pick up the points for fourth. Gabriele Piana, if things remain as they are now, we pick up the points for ninth place because we have a guesting car in the shape of the number 4 car. So it would be points for ninth place for Gabriele Piana, who we ride on board with there. It means that as we head into tomorrow's race, it would be, oh, someone saved me the maths there. Thank you very much to our very hard-working graphics team who've just beaten me to it. So it would be a 27-point gap between first and second. It would mean it would be a championship as the number 66 car goes deep from the hairpin, going wide. And no, it's the 77 car, beg your pardon, the sister car. So that's Linus Harner after all that hard work. And looks like it might be a puncture or an issue because Tim Reiter has gone through, as indeed has Gabriele Piana. So Piana's not giving up on this, is it? If he can get past Tim Reiter, it might just be that he can take this fight all the way to the final race tomorrow. Yeah, it looks like there's been an issue there on the 77 car, maybe a puncture. Looks like potentially the left front has lost the air in the tyre, so that is such a shame after such a strong showing for the number 77 car. So that moves Piana up into 9th place, and the points would be for 8th because of the no score for Storm Yerdrum as a guest driver. So still trying so hard to stay into the battle. The sun quite low in the sky in the driver's eyes. Tim Reiter once again still holding off Gabriele Piana in that 8th place. Piana flashing the lights, trying to distract Tim Reiter, but he will know, having been in the same team as Tim Reiter over the years, that this man is not for distracting. The race finished now. It would still go the way of Federer and Hertling, but if Piana can get past, that'll be more points coming his way. So here is Linus Harner with the ailing BMW coming back into the pits. So, as things stand at the moment, Piana would get the points for 8th place, and that would be 8 points. If he get past Tim Reiter, that would be the points for 7th place. That would be 9 points. The two cars running side by side, but Reiter with the grunt as they head out along the straight and into the corner. But now Piana gets the job done, a tighter line through that corner in towards turn 8 they come. Reiter trying to come back, but he knows that Piana has got the job done, or does he? Tries to just cut back to the inside, but Piana covers it off very nicely up into 8th place. So points for 7th place would be awarded. That would be 9 points that would be awarded to Gabriele Piana if the race finished exactly as it is now. We've still got less than 14 minutes plus 1 lap remaining. A final warning has been given for track limits to car 19. Hugo Sasser, that was the contact between the two cars. Quite a big impact between the two of them, bouncing off each other. Looks like they've survived at the moment, but yeah, some proper elbows out racing. And the 66 car maybe going to return the compliment into the corner, but we've already had a puncture for one of the ME Motorsport cars. We don't want to see it for another one as well, but Piana is through. Yeah, Hugo Sasser's had a final warning for track limits, so if he gets another one, it will be a guaranteed trip to the penalty box. Our race leader, Oscar Christensen, has also had a track limit warning. And while all that's been going on, Rafael Renhofer has closed in on Oscar Christensen. If the race finished now, it would be a 25-point gap back to Gabriele Piana and Berke Besler. On account of race wins, it means that Federer and Hertling could not be caught in the championship with one race remaining. There's Max Rozam with Julien Apotolo. Rozam looks to have made a route past into 5th place. So Apotolo enjoying a little bit more pace with that car, but not quite as much as he would like, because Storm Gjerdrum is there as well, the very impressive young driver from Norway who's made his debut in the second half of this season. He might go to Julien Apotolo. Yeah, you might be experienced in many disciplines, but hey, I'm here, I've arrived, and I'm coming through. He's in 7th place at the moment, with Apotolo relegated down to 6th place. Track limit warnings coming thick and fast. No penalties have been awarded yet. Less than 12 minutes plus 1 lap remaining. Christensen leading, that is the leader. The gap between himself and Rafael Renhofer down to a little over 0.4 of a second. This is far from over. Renhofer still in the championship hunt at the moment, so still trying to push forwards. Would love to take some silverware home anyway. You can see the spray rising up into the air. The drivers exploring all parts of the circuit, trying to find the traction. 1st and 2nd, there's 3rd. A long way back to 4th place, Enrico Federer, but that's all he would need at the moment. Here he is coming into the hairpin now. And around the hairpin, then another gap back to Max Rozam. But then Julien Apotolo, Storm Gjerdrum, Gabriele Piana, Tim Reiter, Anton Abbé. And there is Hugo Sassa on the inside. The 2 Pro Sport Aston Martins, they are the same team. Quite important not to make contact. Hugo Sassa diving through into 10th place, relegating Anton Abbé out of the top 10. Just up ahead, Tim Reiter. Piana up to 8th place at the moment. Next up the road is Storm Gjerdrum, but Gjerdrum is not scoring points anyway. So if things remain as they are, Piana would get the points for 7th place. Here comes our race leader at the moment, looking more and more vulnerable. 0.4 of a second as what the gap was when the 2 cars' co-drivers were at the wheel. And now it's back to 0.4 again after the pit stop sequence. Philip Gogolok in a fairly lonely 3rd place, but he will be very willing to jump in if these 2 cars get together and there's any drama at all. Meanwhile, Storm Gjerdrum has just found a route past Julien Apotolo, so Gjerdrum has moved up into 6th place. Looking down towards the hairpin once again, 1st and 2nd, and there's 3rd place Gogolok. The 1, 2, 3, well clear of 4th place Federer, some way back down the road. Federer is some 14.9 seconds back from Philip Gogolok. So unless there is drama involving one of the first 3, a podium looking out of the question, but they're not really looking for a podium today. Enrico Federer, J-Mo Hertling just looking for a solid points haul to try and get the championship put to bed, take the pressure off for tomorrow so they can just turn up and enjoy the racing. 1st and 2nd. Heading into turn 13, the Sachs Curva. Out of 13, they come back onto the power. A little flick to the left, which is turn 14, and then a little flick to the right, which is 15. Then the braking of turn 16. And then into turn 17, out along the pit straight they will come. Has Rafael Renhofer got the pace to pick up a slipstream and make a challenge on this lap? In towards turn 1, just doesn't look as though he's got the pace to make a move and to make it stick. Linus Hana, just to update you, has rejoined, albeit a couple of laps down after what looked like a puncture, but in last place, so not going to be any points for the number 77 car in this race. The challenge for the lead continues. 1st and 2nd, running nose to tail. 8 minutes plus 1 lap remaining. Piana in 8th, but with the points for 7th if things finish as they are. Still, the pressure is put on. In the evening sunshine, you can see the sun in the driver's eyes. It's really hard work, they tell me, when the sun is low in the sky. GT4 Germany, quite often, quite late in the day. And it means with the sun down low, the drivers are squinting through the plastic screens, the perspex screens, and the sun diffuses. Really hard work, but it's not slowing down Raphael Renhofer. He's got a sniff of the lead of this race. Oscar Christensen, in his debut season in ADAC GT4 Germany, needs to keep it inch perfect here. If he makes any mistake at all, Raphael Renhofer will be through and will take the lead of the race. Looking for back-to-back wins, Oscar Christensen and Lachlan Robinson took their first ever win at the Red Bull Ring last time out. Would love to make it back-to-back wins, despite the success ballast on board that car, the additional 15 kilos that they're carrying as a result of that win. Raphael Renhofer is not able to find the route past, looks to the side into turn 2, then out of 2, into turns 3 and 4, which come in quick succession. Then onto the parabolica, turn 5, but it's taken at absolute full tilt. The slipstream will come into effect, but maybe not enough to give Renhofer an advantage. Is he going to challenge into the hairpin? He's got about 6 minutes to try and force the car in front into a mistake, to try and find a route past. He goes wide, ducks back to the inside, the old trick on the hairpin. The two cars running side by side. This is for the lead of the race. Raphael Renhofer in the 92 car in the championship hunt. Muscles in front and gets the Porsche in front of Oscar Christensen, relegating the number 31 car down into second place. The 31 car that has led for all of the laps of this race, with the exception of the pit stop sequence, now shuffled down into second place. And immediately Raphael Renhofer is able to just put a gap between himself and that second place. Renhofer, who won this race this time last year along with Hugo Sasser, took his first ever win in ADAC GT4 Germany, looking to repeat the feat here. He clearly loves the Hockenheimring, and he used the hairpin to great effect to move to the outside, then ducking back to the inside of the 31 car of Oscar Christensen and shuffling him down into second place. And already the gap between first and second is up to 0.576. Piana continuing to challenge now. This is Julien Potelot up in front. The 7th place car of Julien Potelot has not got anything to defend with. And Gabriel Piana is also on the move forwards. So Piana, he's not giving up yet with 4.5 minutes remaining of this race. Hugo Sasser trying to get involved. He fancies trying to mug both of them. Julien Potelot, Hugo Sasser have had many races wheel to wheel over the years. Hugo Sasser, Gabriel Piana in there as well. So Sasser has got past the Piana. So that is not good news for Piana, trying to get himself back into this championship. He and Hugo Sasser have fought wheel to wheel for the championship over the years. But if the race finished now, look at that. It would not be a clinching of the championship, because Raphael Renhofer, having moved up into second place, will punt Piana and Besler out of the championship hunt, but will keep it alive till tomorrow. So this is not over yet. If Raphael Renhofer can keep it in exactly the position it's in for another 3.5 minutes plus 1 lap, and if Gabriele Piana cannot make any more progress, it will be a 2-horse race, but it will be 2 different horses. Well, one of them will be anyway, because 4th place Federer, he's solid there. He's some 16.9 back from Philip Gogolok, and he's 3.9 clear of Max Rozan. So as long as there are no issues, we should be good for 4th place They're fighting further back. This is not even for the points, but it's still great stuff. Axel Bengston, Cedric Fuchs in there as well. Luca Link always entertains in the number 70 car. The Razzoon More Than Racing BMW, such a talented driver. We saw him briefly in Pro Cycle Cup Germany, and he showed what he's worth. He's showing it now in the GT4 Germany as he fights for every position, not even for points, but for glory, and showing his race skill as he shuffles Cedric Fuchs down a position. 2.5 minutes remaining. Philip Goglock flashing the lights, even though he's nowhere near Oscar Christensen. Still trying to distract him, still trying to make him miss a braking point. You wouldn't believe they're in the same team, would you? First, second, and third. Out of the hairpin they come, all running together. But Raphael Renhofer, along with Emil Heyerdahl, have moved themselves into the championship hunt, have kept themselves in the championship hunt going in tomorrow by just a whisker. But it does mean the championship is still alive and kicking going into the final race of the season. Less than 2 minutes remaining. There is our race leader, Raphael Renhofer. He was 1.179 clear of Oscar Christensen last time across the line. I have a feeling he might have opened that up a bit, because Christensen now starting to look vulnerable to Philip Goglock. But with just over 90 seconds plus 1 lap remaining of this race, time is running out for Goglock to move himself up a step on the podium. As things stand at the moment, Raphael Renhofer, along with Emil Heyerdahl, will take the top step. Second will be Oscar Christensen, along with Lachlan Robinson. The third step will be Philip Goglock and Hendrik Still. In fourth place, it would be Enrico Ferderer and J-Mo Hurling, but it would mean that the championship will continue for another day. Looking from turn 2, we come. 1 minute remaining on the clock on this race 11 of a 12 race season for the ADAC GT4 Germany. Keeping an eye on the track limits. So many track limits and black and white flags have been awarded, but no penalties that I can see at the moment as we look down on the hairpin. Our race leader is heading round it as we speak, so the clock is going to strike 0 before he gets back to the start-finish line. So it's going to be what remains of this lap, and then one more before we see the checkered flag in the penultimate race of the season for the ADAC GT4 Germany. The fight for second place rages on, but now Philip Goglock is starting to run out of time. The light starts to fade here at the Hockenheimring. An entertaining race for ADAC GT4 Germany. The clock now with 3 seconds. Our race leader's up at turn 12, so certainly not going to get back before the clock strikes 0. So it's about a lap and a quarter remaining of this race. A lap and a quarter to Philip Goglock to try and find a route past Oscar Christensen. Christensen, though, has driven a perfect race. He's just kept it all together. The two ADAC MX Motorsport Porsches are going to fight all the way to the line. It's the final lap now for Raphael Renhofer, who took over from Emil Heyerdahl, moved to the front of the pack, and along the pit straight he comes for the very last time. It's turn 1 and then into turn 2. Is Philip Goglock going to make a challenge? One last challenge. He's got to make it stick. If he makes that move, he's in the third place at the moment. He's in position for a trophy. Our race leader well clear. 2.7 seconds last time across the start-finish line. Into the parabolica for the last time. Right, this is Goglock's first and possibly last real opportunity on this lap to try and get past into that second place. He's flashing the lights. Now heading towards the hairpin, and they will come under braking. Goglock was too far back to challenge. Now out of the hairpin they come, in towards turn 7, the right-hander. Then it'll be into turn 8 for the very last time. Turn 8 is the left-hander. So the braking here, and now Goglock a little bit too far back. Is he winding himself up for one last attack in the last few corners, or has he settled for third place? Renhofer is away and clear. He's got lap traffic in front of him, but that is of no issue. He doesn't need to get past the car in front because he has a gap of nearly 3 seconds, maybe even more over this fight for second place. Now Goglock into the Sachs Curva for the last time. Tries to put the pressure on, but he can't do it. But look at this. It is Raphael Renhofer along with Emil Heyerdahl. It's going to be a first ever win for Emil Heyerdahl. Raphael Renhofer crosses the line to receive the checkered flag and win in race 11 of this 12-race season for the ADAC GT4 Germany. Oscar Christensen just holding off Philip Gogolock to cross the line and take that second place. And by my calculations, if Enrico Federer crosses the line now, the championship will continue just into tomorrow. There will be a 24-point gap with 1 point remaining. But the 21 car with Gabriella Piana at the wheel is shuffled out of the championship hunt with 1 race remaining. First ever win for Emil Heyerdahl, and for Raphael Renhofer, we saw him taking his only win here in this race, the Saturday race of the ADAC GT4 Germany last year. So he now has his second ever win in this series. A great day for ADAC Motorsport. There is Emil Heyerdahl receiving the congratulations from the team, from the photographers, from everybody. What a great job they have done. And they have kept themselves in the championship hunt. Can it be that they could steal this championship from under the noses of Enrico Federer and J-Mo Hurtling? It's going to be a stretch, but the championship goes all the way to tomorrow, and it's not over until the checkered flag falls tomorrow. There, after 32 laps, is your 1 to 8. Great racing here in the evening sunshine. Heyerdahl, Renhofer, Robinson, Christensen, Still and Goglock. Those are the 6 drivers who will stand on the podium. It looks as though J-Mo Hurtling and Enrico Federer were going to get the job done today. They possibly hadn't even counted on Raphael Renhofer and Emil Heyerdahl, because coming into this race, they were in 4th place. So they were a long way back on the challenge. So it carries on till tomorrow. 24 points will be the gap, with 25 points on the table. The 7th place for Gabriella Piana will make them 25 points back, which would mean that if there was a tie in the points, it would go to race victories. And those 4 at the beginning of the season for Enrico Federer and J-Mo Hurtling mean that they cannot be caught by Gabriella Piana and Berke Besler now. They have had a very good achievement, but they've had 2 wins this season. It does mean that Federer and J-Mo Hurtling are going to have to wait another day as everybody bumps into each other while celebrating before they can clinch the championship. It will require nothing less than a win for Raphael Renhofer and Emil Heyerdahl tomorrow, and it will require bad luck to befall the number 11 car so they do not score any points. And just to make it even tougher for the Wimmer Werk Porsche, they're going to have 15 kilos of success ballast on board. So it's going to take something pretty extraordinary for Raphael Renhofer and Emil Heyerdahl to lift the championship. But we saw something pretty extraordinary last year when we saw Josef Knopp and Finn Zulauf take the championship very much in the closing stages. They were very much the underdogs. They sealed the championship in the final race here at the Hockenheimring last year. So it is possible. But at the moment, not even thinking about the championship. Heyerdahl and Renhofer will be basking in the glory. Don't hit the box, don't send the balls flying. They'll be basking in the glory of a well-earned race win. They drove a flawless race. No mistakes, no dramas. Look at that. The point standings as we head into tomorrow. It's a two-horse race as we head into the final race of the season, and it's 1 point between them. Piana and Besler are knocked out. Also knocked out Philip Gogelok and Hendrik Still. They were third in the championship coming into this. And their third in this race will not be enough to keep them in the championship hunt. So Rafael Rennhofer, such a talented superstar. The driver who comes from Austria, and the Norwegian Emil Heyerdahl, who's arrived on the scene and said, here I am, take note. And everybody took note. And they've certainly done that here as they take their first win. They got podiums, a second and a third, at Oschersleben in the season opener. They haven't visited the podium again this season, and they've waited till the final weekend of the season to take that first win. There's Philip Gogelok, who, all being well, will start the race tomorrow from pole position. And there, on the left-hand side, Oscar Christensen. On the right-hand side, Lachlan Robinson. But Gogelok and Hendrik Still normally are beside themselves with celebrations with a podium, but they know that the championship is over for 2025. It'll be the silverware that they take home, but they're going to have to wait another year to challenge for the title of GT4 Germany champion. Hendrik Still, who's been on the GT4 scene, well, it feels like for a very long time. And Philip Gogelok, becoming something of a veteran. This was the 59th race for Hendrik Still. For Philip Gogelok, this was his 39th race. So both of them have been doing the rounds for a while. Certainly Hendrik Still, very, very experienced as well. But third place it was today. They're knocked out of the championship hunt. Lachlan Robinson, Oscar Christensen looked like they were going to make it back-to-back victories, but it wasn't to be, and maybe that success ballast was just a little bit too much. But it's a first ever win for Emil Heyerdahl, a second ever win for Rafael Rennhofer, for ADAC Motorsport. The OnlyFans car has lots of fans here at the Hockenheimring as the drivers head over towards the podium. Lachlan Robinson, Oscar Christensen, what a potent combination they have turned out to be. You get the feeling we're going to see a fair bit of them in the near future as they continue to challenge and move their way up the GT ladder. We look at the podium, the light fading fast here at the Hockenheimring, running a bit behind schedule. And in a moment, we'll see the 6 drivers who occupied those top 3 places coming to the podium. So despite a lot of track limit warnings, a number of final warnings, there was nobody who picked up any penalties in the latter part of the race. So now we look up to the podium and we wait for the 6 drivers to arrive. So Enrico Förderer, J-Mo Hertling are going to have to wait a little bit longer to get the job done. I think Hendrik Still and Philip Gogelok, not normally as subdued as that. Normally they are infamous for their celebrations on the podium. But knowing that the championship is gone for this year, a little bit sobering. Oscar Christensen, Lachlan Robinson, very happy to have followed up their win at the Red Bull Ring with a second place. But we've had to wait almost an entire season to see Rennhofer and Heyerdahl on the top step of the podium. And ADAC Motorsport are there is a face that we may well recognise representing the team. I believe that's Nikolai Moller-Madsen, who's a driver coach at ADAC Motorsport nowadays. We've seen him on the podium. And there, we haven't even mentioned Damon Suzushin. We'll come back to that in a moment. So we have a Pro-Am ranking in ADAC GT4 Germany. The winner of that particular combination, Damon Suzushin. And he gets a trophy as well, along with Lawrence Rule in the number 40 Razzoon More Than Racing BMW. Trophies. Ibrahim Charor presents those trophies. Certainly the light started to fade here at the Hockenheimring. We just about got the racing in time. The rain held off. Mario Pradel Rodriguez, General Manager, Ravenol, Latin America. Great to have so many guests and visitors here for the season finale at the Hockenheimring. And Nikolai Moller-Madsen, please let my driver identification worked, receives the trophy for ADAC Motorsport. And the Pro-Am pairing will receive their trophy as well. Great trophies with the outline of the circuit here at the Hockenheimring. So the drivers will squeeze up. There's a lot of them up there for the photographs. And the celebrations will commence. We thought we might be crowning the new champions of ADAC GT4 Germany here on this Saturday. We're going to have to wait another 24 hours. Is it going to be Enrico Förderer and J-Mo Hertling? Is it going to be Rafael Renhofer and Emil Heyerdahl? It's going to be a stretch for them to do it, but it's totally possible. We're going to be back tomorrow at about 20 to 5 local time for the final race of the season. ADAC GT4 Germany 2025. We'll see you then.